Axios was compelled to publish this article this morning, how the Bezos-Trump alliance began. And the timeline here is kind of eerily similar to how the Musk-Trump alliance began. Amazon founder and Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos last summer privately urged Donald Trump to pick Doug Burgum as Trump's vice president, saying he'd be an excellent choice. Bezos' phone conversation with Trump in July, detailed in my forthcoming book, Revenge, the inside story of Trump's return to power, nice plug, was a sign that Bezos was engaging with Trump on political issues months earlier than previously reported. July, that's when Elon endorsed Trump. July. What happened in July? The near miss in Pennsylvania. And of course, that was on the heels of Biden's disastrous debate performance, which was June 27th. July was the month where it became obvious to these people that Trump was likely to win. And that's when they got on board, which just shows you how transactional they are, how they don't actually believe anything. Once they got wind that, hey, Biden tanked, which means the Democrats are probably going to either run Kamala or stick with a totally non-viable candidate. Looks like Trump's going to win this year. Now's when we're getting on board. Elon and Bezos got on board the exact same time for the exact same reason, because now they have access, as you were just saying.
Well, hey, I mean, all of the DEI kabuki, it was as plain as the nose on your face. You really think Jeff Bezos was going home worried about intersectionality?
Right.
You think Elon ever gave a shit about these things? This is why they've made such an easy transition. They like this a lot better. Oh, right. I can just hire and fire people at will without any restraints. These guys are all about minimal restraints. Right. What's the first thing they did? They went after the CFPB. What little they gave back to consumers compared to these guys' personal wealth. $22 billion. It's nothing. It's nothing. Even for Elon, he could write that check and not miss it. But on principle, having that kind of restraint was too much for them. You think these guys liked having DEI programs? It was something they tolerated if they needed to for the legal department. Yeah, in case we get sued. Well, we ran a whole workshop, right? Right. You tell these guys, hey, you don't have to do that anymore. Of course, they jumped at it once they were confident the coast was clear. No. This whole idea has been vanquished. It's never coming back to power. Boom, we can get rid of it.
Exactly. It wasn't until late October, 3 months later, that Bezos spiked the Post editorial page's planned endorsement of Kamala Harris for president, and his outreach to Trump came into focus. The latest indication of Bezos' Trumpward drift came Wednesday when he announced that the Post's progressive-leaning opinion page, which, again, this is the Overton window enforcement of the corporate media, hardly progressive, I'd argue, but we'll let that go, would shift its mission to promote personal liberties and free markets. The move was praised by Trump allies such as Elon Musk, but created an uproar at the Post where David Shipley, the op editor, resigned. Flashback. Since he killed the Harris editorial, Bezos, like Musk, Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, Google CEO Sundar Pichai, and other tech titans whose fortunes can be swayed by the president's decisions, has continued to publicly warm to Trump. On November 6th, the day after the election, Bezos praised Trump for an extraordinary political comeback and decisive victory. The following month, Bezos dined with Trump at the president's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida. In January, Bezos and his fiancée, they're engaged, that's sweet, Lauren Sanchez, attended Trump's inauguration, to which Amazon had donated $1 million. The seeds of the Bezos-Trump alliance were planted in the July phone call. During the call, Bezos praised Trump for how he'd handled the attempt on his life at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Bezos also told Trump that Burgum would be a great choice for VP, according to two people with knowledge of the call. Burgum, who was North Dakota's governor at the time, and like Bezos, had made a fortune in the tech world, helped arrange for the call. Now, obviously, Burgum did not get the VP spot that went to J.D. Vance, but Burgum does now have a cabinet spot at the Interior Department, so he did get a bone thrown his way. Now, this was a story, this next part of this is a story that we kind of missed. I mean, it was on my radar. I just never really worked it into the show, but I'm glad we got to do this today, because this really shows you just how much Bezos is cozying up to Trump. So this was reported on Valentine's Day. Melania Trump to earn at least $28 million from Amazon for documentary deal. So Amazon is licensing a documentary about Melania Trump for $40 million. $40 million. First Lady Melania Trump will walk away with at least $28 million as part of her $40 million agreement with e-commerce giant Amazon to license a documentary film about her life, according to a report. Trump, who is due to receive over 70% of the deal's proceeds, has also been shopping sponsorship deals for the film, the Wall Street Journal reported. This is just a straight out, naked, out in the open grift. To give you guys an idea, the most expensive documentary film ever produced. Now, licensing is different, grant you, but just to give you an idea of like the realm of documentary film financing, production, distribution, etc. The most expensive documentary film ever produced was by the BBC called either A Walk with the Dinosaurs or Walking with Dinosaurs, some dinosaur documentary where they spent a lot on visual effects. That cost 6 million British pounds, which is the equivalent of about $10 million. $40 million to license a documentary film? There's no way that is the market at work. That is a favor to Donald and Melania Trump to the tune of $28 million plus, not just that, the First Lady also reportedly told blue chip CEOs who attended her husband's inauguration on January 20th that they would need to pony up at least $10 million in exchange for being acknowledged at the end of the film's credits. As a bonus, the CEOs who agree to pay for the sponsorship would get an invite to the documentary's premiere, according to the Journal. The First Lady's Amazon deal came together shortly after company founder Jeff Bezos traveled to Mar-a-Lago in December to dine with her husband, who weeks earlier trounced his Democratic opponent, Kamala Harris, in the November 5th election. According to the Journal, the First Lady was keen on persuading Bezos, the Amazon founder and Washington Post owner, who historically has had a fraught relationship with the president, to buy the rights to the documentary. So this is why we've been saying that this incarnation of MAGA is different in kind and far more dangerous than the previous incarnations of MAGA. This is not 2016 MAGA. This is a merging. This is a Brundlefly of the MAGA movement with big tech. This is what makes this so different in kind, is that you have Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos with a combined net worth of what, about $700 billion? Add these oligarchs together who are joined at the hip with Trump now, their net worth easily surpasses $1 trillion. And they have now just completely kowtowed to him to the point where they're making this clearly corrupt deal out in the open. There is nowhere near $40 million worth of market value in a Melania Trump documentary. Nowhere near that. It's of course fucking absurd that you would pay $40 million to license absurd. From outer space absurd. But this is the lengths to which they will go to cozy up to power. It's that same access to power that motivates the decision to now basically, as you said, turn the Washington Post op-ed page into the Wall Street Journal.
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Yeah. I want to know where all the people who have been screaming, rightly so, about the Clinton Foundation and its clearly corrupt way of funneling money into the foundation as a way of bribing the Clintons in office.
Or when the Obamas got a $60 million Netflix deal.
I was just going to say, or what about when the Obamas got that Netflix deal? Where are all the people screaming about that? Where are all the... So let me get this straight. You got a billionaire trust fund kid with a wife who posed for naked pictures, getting a $40 million deal. And you've got his chief advisor, who seems more like he's actually in charge, is an illegal immigrant from South Africa with 13 baby mamas.
Right.
Oh no, man. Those conservative values ain't what they used to be. It's pretty funny. Can you imagine if this fact pattern belonged to any Democrat?
Right.
Any perceived liberal? Oh my God, the meltdown. Those naked pictures of the first lady would be everywhere. They'd be everywhere. They'd be on freaking t-shirts at CPAC. Not a word about it. Not a word. And hey, man, we're on the left. Like, do your thing, man. We don't think she should be shamed for that, but you do.
Right.
You do. If you're a conservative, you do. But you're not doing it, right? Because it's one of yours.
Right. Right. Yeah. Just pretty naked, no pun intended. Just corrupt dealing involving the richest and most powerful people in the world. The richest and most powerful people in the world. I watched the segment that Jimmy did with Hedges yesterday. It was a great segment. You should all watch. It's on Rumble now, where Hedges responds to some of Glenn Greenwald's recent comments on his article. Because, there's a debate going on right now in this space. And, I love Greenwald, one of my heroes. One of the great thrills of doing this show is getting to meet him. The fact that he knows who we are and gives a shit what we have to say is kind of surreal. So, it's all with love and respect. But, what Hedges said is that, it's not that I'm pro-empire. It's that what happens in this stage of empire is oligarchs self-destruct the empire and then they cannibalize it to their benefit. And that's exactly what's going on. That was exactly well put. This is the cannibalization of the empire to the benefit of the oligarchs. Right. Now, is there certain opportunity that presents itself in that? Of course. And we have said that. We've not been shy about saying that, about USAID, about NED, about the dismantling of the FBI, right? But just look at the moves they're making right out of the open. These are not some Tom, Dick, and Harry. These are the richest and most powerful people in the world who are now grabbing the reins of government, white knuckled in broad daylight, and using it for their own enrichment, their own access to power, and their own aggrandizement. At the same time that the GOP is passing budget resolutions through the House that are going to gut Medicaid by almost $1 trillion.
Right.
This is,
and they're getting you to cheer for it,
right? And they're getting
that somehow this is going to redound to your benefit. They're thinking about you while they rifle through the federal government to figure out how they could possibly cut enough jobs and enough spending, much of it vital spending, as you're going to find out soon enough. And with all the incidents we're seeing with planes, frankly, we may be seeing already in a very terrifying way. None of that is for you. They're rifling through the government to figure out how they can give more tax cuts to them. And you're still falling for this trickle down bullshit? Really?
Yeah.
They're still feeding you that? Yeah, no. Once we cut all this, no, it's going to be job heaven. They're busily trying to figure out how to eliminate the need for labor on every level. That's how these guys think. You think they wanted to get into government for you?
Right.
No, it's because the government was inconveniencing them. So they bought it.
Right. Exactly. That is how it works. That's just pretty straightforward Marxism there, that eventually business will cannibalize the state. I mean, and that is what has happened.
They're eating the treasury. That is exactly what Marx says will happen at the end.
Right.
Finally, the private interests with nothing left to loot will eat the treasury.
Please clap.